All right, welcome back to the Kaspersky Arena, guys. Now, there's some questions as to how this is a King of the Hill format. No, it's not a technically in-game King of the Hill, but it is a King of the Hill in the sense that each of these players will continue to the next round to compete for more and more money. There's not best of ones; these are all best of fives, so it gives you a lot of games with a lot of really good quality players. ForGG, of course, was the community vote-in. Every single month, Kaspersky not only puts in €1,000, but they actually let people pick who they want the fifth player to be. There's always 4 invited players and a community vote in. I think Scarlet was like a close second to ForGG, but he did end up winning in the end for the community vote. So we're back into this series. I'm Rifkin, joined by Zombie Grub with our awesome Observer Partouf. And this is game number 2. Currently leading the series up 1, spawning the northern midnight spawn location. You can't say left, you can't say right. It is Polar Night. Give it up, guys, for ForGG.
In the bottom 6 position, we're going to have our purple Terran. It is GoOdy.
Have you ever heard the phrase going from 6 to midnight?
Nope.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that then. GoOdy is a player who, again, guys, probably wants to aim for that longer game, do something drawn out. That being said, while he's not doing anything cheeky right now, I have seen GoOdy actually pull off some pretty good TVTs that involve, like, pretty ridiculous proxies, almost fuser style, if you will. And for those who don't know what that means, just basically proxying every building you have across the map. He is sending out an SUV around the long way, and this is Polar Night. One thing he does love to do is put proxies on the back side of this in the upper right around the ice. Open with a Banshee, he puts the factory down, opens with a Banshee, gets siege tanks behind it, and just lays waste from behind your own base.
That sounds like a pretty legit strategy. That behind base is so underused as, A, a base, and B, like anything like a proxy location. It's almost silly.
Well, here we go. This is GoOdy playing to the map, more so than the player, more so than the matchup. This is something I've actually seen him win with in the past too. Now, it's kind of funny, like, even Zerg players with Overlords, they don't scout this. As Zombie Grub said, it's so underutilized because nobody ever uses it. Once you got some siege tanks out, though, one thing that's really cute is GoOdy does also throw turrets down over here. Like, he puts a large amount of an investment into this. What's scary is if ForGG goes for something like quick Hellion drops or proxy Widowmine, or not proxy, but like Widowmine drops or like Marines or something. Basically, if he scuts his butt over to this side of the map and doesn't go for a Banshee, GoOdy's gonna have nothing at home to really contend against. It is the one real big drawback to this.
Yeah. It's a pretty big drawback, but he saw last game, and you've seen a lot of 4GG games, if you're a Terran player and you like playing mech, of course, that, the chance of him going Banshee might not be terribly high. There's some players that always go Banshee every single time, but 4GG says that, he really likes Hellions, and he's willing to not get a Banshee at all, just go up to, a cautionary Viking and to get so many Hellions, so he might not have to worry about that, and that's, you said it was really playing towards the map, but it is still also playing towards the player. I think this might be really good against what 4G does.
Yeah, Polar Night's a very unique map. There's certain things that do come hand in hand with it. But as we see Tech Lab coming down on that factory does mean, of course, after that Banshee's out, we'll see tanks. Now, GoOdy, one thing that's kind of you don't see consistently out of him is whether this is Cloak or not. Typically, you don't see Cloak because of the high gas cost of those tanks to follow it. But in this instance versus 4GG, yeah, Cloak is going to be made. I really like this choice. Because as Zombie Grub said, someone who's so focused on ground, so focused on having Hellions out, probably not going to have a missile turret, probably not going to have that Raven out first.
Nope. Looks like he's going to be swapping the barracks and starport, so it might just be for Raven, though. I mean, that's what he did last game, I believe, after getting a Viking. But if he went for Banshees, too, that's probably going to be the most helpful thing. Just because when the tanks do come out for GoOdy, it's going to be so hard to take that natural. Like, Hellions are going to have such a difficult time getting back there and actually, like, doing any damage.
Okay, well, it's going to be a Viking first, not a Raven first. The detection is still going to be an issue, but actually shooting the Banshee will not. Of course, Cloak does take significantly longer than the Banshee to make, so this will, well, not be that big of a threat, I feel, for too long.
We have a visitor coming out from GoOdy, so he is definitely afraid of what you're talking about. That counter Banshee definitely wants to take care of that, luckily for him. Well, actually, this wouldn't happen anyway, so it's kind of a wasted investment, but a cautionary one.
Ooh, he's got to be careful. Marines take out the Banshee. No need for a Viking. Well, the Vikings there.
Wow.
But that really sucks for GoOdy. That's a big investment out the window right now. And of course, Cloak not done still. Tank does siege, but he's not going to have vision of this for the time being. He'll need to build a barracks to lift the factory one way or another to actually be able to see the mineral lines to assault it. Hellions have been made, as we kind of assumed at a 4GG, but with a full wall off here at home, GoOdy's actually not in any immediate danger.
Banshee gives the tank vision. There's a missile turret right next to it, so funny. The cloak should be implemented here to stop the taking damage.
I think he's trying to bait it to the turret.
That was a very long bait, if that was the case.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm just saying it's not like that makes sense for how long that took. But Hellions at home are going to fire up a couple of Marines, but not anything too dangerous to GoOdy. Will actually be problematic though, because he doesn't have enough to shut this down, which means that wall can't be repaired. If he pulls his SCVs into this, of course, they get fried by the Hellions as well. So now has to step up his game a little bit, advances the tanks forward to cover from the ground. But being forward like this means they're not in the safety of that turret, and ForGG just needs to make one Banshee of his own.
And that's exactly what he's doing. So a great response. He's also getting cloaked too, knowing that GoOdy will be still on one base, which means there's not going to be a lot of scans, although GoOdy is saving his energy for now, knowing that is a possibility. With missile turrets already surrounding his tanks, though, like, ForGG is going to have some, like, really good, I don't know, like, lucky breaks, and actually just finds one that those
I don't
tanks
think
are so
GoOdy
wide
can hold it
open.
home. I don't think GoOdy can hold it home. He keeps playing a lot of SCVs to repair, and he keeps losing a lot of SCVs in order to repair. These Hellions might actually break through, and if they break through, that's the end of the game. I mean, you might have all this cool proxy stuff going on, but if you can't defend it, then or if you can't supply it, I should say, then you're just screwed.
That's definitely going to be broken through. I mean, ForGG is still rallying Hellions too, so, you know, at first it was only 4, and he was probably thinking, well, that kind of sucks, but I can deal with it, but now it's going to be 8 or 10, and back home, he is not doing too much damage. I mean, ForGG just lifted off and went to the other base, no problem, and GoOdy, while it seemed like a really, really cool strat, ForGG must have either played against it, or just is...
I think it's just
knows what to
reacting
do.
intelligently.
Yeah.
I mean, part 2, or sorry, I don't know why I said part 2. 4GG is a player who, if you guys watch him stream, he's played against everything at this point. I have no doubt that he's maybe seen some variation of this in the past, but with the Banshees coming in to clean this up, tanks don't really stand much of a chance. 2 Vikings will try and zone this out, but of course, if GoOdy moves away from the turret, then, well, he can't get a lot done. Now, I don't know if he knows what that new third. That's not the typical go-to thing. You're expecting your opponent to be boxed into one base, to be in the same sort of dire situation that you are, but 4GG is actually leading in workers by a large amount. He's got the extra income he needs to really sustain this. I don't know that he's in any real trouble.
I don't think he is. I mean, GoOdy's just now getting his natural up, like, or not even natural, his command center up. He also has 2 barracks, which I guess he needed that second one just to get enough Marines to try and deal with the Hellions, and they're doing a decent job now. He didn't actually get broken through.
I'm really shocked with, like, the 11 or 14 Marines he's had die. He didn't invest in, like, 1 bunker. You know what I mean? And having that next to the depot.
The bringing the Banshee back was probably the best thing he could have done. If he did that a long time before, that would have, you know, been no problem. Wouldn't have lost any SCVs. But now it's just, I mean, there's a possibility that GoOdy's thinking, "Oh, I'm okay. He's still on one base." But really, you're gonna start thinking, you know, "Oh, what if he took another one? Like, I gotta go scout," but he couldn't for so long because the Hellions were boxing him in.
Well, I was going to point out, too, we also have reactored Vikings coming out, so the air battle doesn't even go in the favor of GoOdy at this point. He's going to wrap around with these tanks, but I think the second he sees his base, he may even just tap out. I don't know if he'll give up that easily, but this is going to be a really disheartening thing to see.
Well, now we can siege up the natural at the very least. It's still, the air battle is going in favor of ForGG so well, and he has Banshees too, that GoOdy's might just die to Banshees.
This is GoOdy, by the way, being the Panzer General in the truest form. I didn't even catch on to that till just now, but Tank's doing a great job so far, but is it enough? Here come the Banshees.
The Banshees kill every single one of GoOdy's tanks. There's no way that he has an economy to, like, come back in the lead for the air wars.
Oh! Well, you know what, though? GoOdy just took out all the tanks of 4GG, so at the very least, he won't lose a ground fight at home, not outright, as he can always kind of fall behind those supply depots if he needs to, but even then, that's not really... That's just me trying to make the situation seem less dire than it is.
Oh, he has nothing but Marines. Oh my god, all the tech lab factories were over on the other side.
If that bunker was finished, maybe he holds this, but that's a big maybe. Good game's going to be called, and 4GG will take 2-0 as the lead, 1 away from victory.
I don't